Okay, so we've got the motor on the engine stand, and obviously some oil is still leaking out of it. You saw when we flipped it over, we just had that stream coming out. I'm assuming that, yeah, the dipstick hole. So I guess if you're gonna do this, go ahead and like plug that up. But let's go ahead and get this oil pan swapped out. Here's the new Holley oil pan, model number 302-1. It does come with the new pickup tube and all the new hardware, the O-rings, everything you're going to need to install it. It also has this baffle that we're going to bolt into it. The stuff that it did not come with is a dipstick tube and the dipstick. This is for an F-body. I'll leave all the part numbers in the description down below. And it also did not come with a gasket, so I ordered this Fel-Pro gasket. I think it was like 30 bucks. So all in all, I think I have like $400+ into all this, like 440 with the dipstick tube and everything. And you are also going to need some black RTV just to seal up parts of the block. Remove the oil filter, and then you're also going to remove these two 10mm. Remove this oil sensor. The new pan does not utilize this. I've already removed these two oil pan bolts, and luckily I still had them. I thought I had to remove them to remove the engine, but obviously I didn't. But I think we're still going to need these, so definitely hang on to all the bolts until after you get the new pan installed. Now we're gonna remove all these little 10mm bolts. I think there's 11 all the way around, and then hopefully this pan will come out. Now that we got all the bolts out, this thing's free, but we're gonna have to be careful with the pickup tube, so I'm gonna have to put the camera down so I can get this off without damaging it. Oh, just kidding, super easy. Ugh, look at that guy. To get this pickup tube off, there's 3 bolts. There's this 10mm right here, and then you've got two 13mm. We got all those bolts out, and this should just pop out just like that. It is very important to make sure that O-ring stays on the pickup tube. If it's not on your pickup tube when you remove it, make sure it's not down in there, because that will cause a lot of major issues, especially with the oil pressure. Windage tray is removed. I've got it over there, got it cleaned up a little bit just to knock some of the bulk of the oil left over on it. These are the points that we have to RTV. It's still intact, but we're gonna go ahead and scrape it out. I've already started on this one, scraping it out, but we'll put a couple fresh dabs of RTV right there, all those 4 locations. And then we're gonna have to clean up this surface so the new gasket will seal appropriately. Also have to make sure you don't have a plug in your oil dipstick tube right here. It's under cylinder number 6, so that's the front of the block. It's upside down, so it's a little confusing, but this is a truck engine, so you can see right here that there is no plug in this hole. What we're using to get this all cleaned up is just some 180 grit sandpaper. I thought we were gonna have to modify the windage tray by cutting it down, but that's only if you've got a F-body windage tray. You got to cut this down to 14¼ inches, and then they've got like a cut chart for this back bolt somewhere. I don't know, but we're not gonna have to do that. We are going to have to make some modifications. So this is not sitting in there flush, and what's keeping it from doing so is this windage tray. So we are going to have to notch out some of these edges, so this will sit down flush, and then we can bolt it all in. So we'll just go ahead and mark this and take the angle grinder and kind of knock off these edges to give it a little more clearance. Okay guys, so we've got the windage tray modified so that guy is sitting in there flush. We did make sure we cleaned off all the debris before we stuck it back in here. We will still have to put that O-ring on. It's super crucial. Now all we have to do is get some RTV in these joints. So 4 different locations. We did scrape out the old RTV the best we could. It says to lube up this O-ring with some fresh oil, so that's what we're doing now. And it says don't force this, so we're gonna have to like wiggle this guy in there and try to get it to seat in there flushly. Reinstall this 10mm bolt. Okay, so this bolt we're tightening down to 106 inch-pounds. And this guy's gonna be torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. There we go. Alright, so we got the new Fel-Pro gasket in there. We got the RTV on all the corners. You just saw all that. So now we gotta get the baffle installed on this guy, and it'll be ready to bolt down. These are gonna get 1 drop of blue Loctite per bolt. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and tighten these bolts down to 8 to 10 foot-pounds. And these are 3/8 inch bolts. Now we need to install this oil passage cover. This is the gasket for it, so we'll go ahead and get this installed. Tighten both of these 10mm bolts down to 106 inch-pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and gingerly install this oil pan, not to damage the pickup tube and the screen. So we're just going to try to fish this on there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start just hand tightening all the oil pan bolts all the way around. Snug all these up. We're going to work from the middle out, and we're going to let that RTV cure just a little bit, maybe like 30 minutes or so. And then we're going to go ahead and drop these 2 long bolts in here as well. Now that we've gotten all the bolts back in all the way around the pan, we're going to go ahead and tighten these things down to 18 foot-pounds, and we're going to work our way from the center to the outside. These 2 back bolts, these are 106 inch-pounds. Okay, and the last two pieces are this oil filter bung, or the oil filter adapter. So we're going to install this, and we're going to go ahead and tighten that down to 40 foot-pounds, and then the drain plug, and this guy's going to get, I believe, 18 foot-pounds. So we got that torqued down to 40 foot-pounds, and we were just putting this on there to make sure no oil leaks out when we flip this back over. We got a new filter because your old filter is not going to work. This is an AC Delco PF48E. The PF48 will also work on this. And just so y'all saw it, I did lube up the gasket in there so it doesn't stick. And obviously this fits better than that last one did. And we're just going to snug this on there. That's probably good. Also, some of the other oil filters you can use are obviously the AC Delco, the Mobile 1 M1-113, Wix is 57060, and K&N is 1017. So if you don't want to use an AC Delco, you got a couple other options, and I found all these on Holley's website. That's not easy. Alright guys, I hope that helped you install your Holley 302-1 oil pan. If you have the 302-2 oil pan, you're going to have to do a couple other modifications, but Holley gives detailed instructions on all of that, so it makes it relatively easy. This is my 1980 Datsun 280ZX. I have a bunch of other videos on this car, so check them out on my channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to follow the build. We've got Nissan S13 coilovers that we had to modify to fit the knuckle and the strut tube. So check all those videos out if you want to follow the build, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace. I wanted to get a side-by-side comparison just to show you the difference. I mean, it's pretty drastic. So hopefully this gives us the clearance we need to get the right engine angle. Just wanted to give you a side view. It actually looks like this might be closer to the cross member, but hopefully it's not. But you can just tell, you know, how much shallower the Holley pan is compared to the 5.3 L59 truck engine pan.